All right, Public Protector Advocate Thuli Madonsela joins us now on the line for a response on the letters of reprimand President Jacob Zuma has issued to the former and current ministers involved in the Nkandla saga, as well as comments from the ANC Women's League. Now, Public Protector, thanks so much for your time. Batabile Dlamini says, and I quote, "We are worried about the status of the Public Protector. Does she have anything to worry about?"
I have no idea what the minister is talking about. I listened to the clip. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Firstly, just thank you for the opportunity. We will write to her and find out what exactly is she talking about. She talks about you have to go to court to implement the public protector's remediation. There's no such requirement. The only time you would go to court is if you were not going to implement anyway because you disagree. So the difference is that instead of just sitting and doing nothing, you're now required to go to court if you don't want to implement, to then tell the court what's wrong with the decision of the public protector.
She also says you're neglecting your job to protect the poor particularly. What do you have to say about that?
Again, I have no idea, honestly, what on earth is she talking about. Again, you do know that 99% of the cases we deal with are Gogo Dlamini cases. Even my time, although we've divided the branches in such a way that the administrative justice matters are for the Deputy Public Protector, and I deal with the corruption, fraud, and ethical violations, most of my time is seized with Gogo Dlamini matters. Again, we will be writing to her and ask her what exactly is she talking about. Can she give us examples? I'm also concerned that we are investigating the minister, and her saying these negative things about my office may be perceived as interfering with our investigations. But you know that historically this office is not intimidated. We do our best. We do our work without fear or favor. I just think it is worrying that she's randomly attacking me and by consequence the office, because as you know, we have an office with over 300 people that are working. When you're saying we're not prioritizing Gogo Dlamini cases, you are saying the entire team is not prioritizing Gogo Dlamini cases. And you'd really honestly have to have a basis for saying those things.
Now, how do you feel about these comments actually coming from the ANC Women's League? You were the first female public protector of South Africa, and now the body that the ANC has in place to actually protect women lashing out at you, particularly for targeting the government, it says.
As I've said previously, part of me feels sorry for the ANC Women's League because it would appear that they just fire randomly and seemingly somebody else pulls the trigger and they fire randomly. However, that having been said, I honestly will be writing to the minister concerned to ask him what exactly is she going on about.
All right, let's move on to the letters of reprimand that was issued by President Jacob Zuma to the ministers and former ministers. The DA says it's a joke. What do you reckon?
My office chooses not to comment about the adequacy of the letters because this investigation was partly done in terms of the Public Protector Act and partly in terms of the Executive Members Ethics Act. In terms of the Executive Members Ethics Act, the President would have ordinarily been required to submit his compliance report to Parliament, and it would then be up to Parliament to evaluate the adequacy of his report. I think the best organ of state that is appropriate to evaluate the adequacy of the President's letters is Parliament.
All right, given that, but when you actually came up with your report, you did say that the ministers should be reprimanded. What did you have in mind at the time?
Well, I expected the President, as the sole holder of executive authority in the Republic, to reprimand his ministers to the extent that he would agree that what happened is not proper conduct in state affairs. It's not a proper way of dealing with state resources and state power.
Did you expect them to be, issued a warning, an official warning? Did you expect them to be fired from their position? We have one minister who's still in government.
No, we were not specific. When I choose to be specific, I do say that disciplinary action should be taken against the person. And in this particular case, we asked the president to reprimand the ministers and nothing more.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. That was Public Protector Advocate Thuli Madonsela.